loving mere folly, then hey ho the holly. This life is most jolly.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, the first round for the month of May, and May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day, the fans of that watching. May the 4th be with you. And before we start, John will do our first monologue. I'll just mention I pasted them in the comments, both for video on YouTube and for the stream here on StreamYard. Kind of a big day for Shakespeare fans. For both East Coast and West Coast. West Coast people, that's where I'm heading after we finish our this stream today. There's this bit, it's called Shakespeareans. A friend of mine from Theater West, where I'm a theater company where I'm a member, he's been developing it there with a couple other actors. It's kind of like a John Gielgud Ages of Man style show with stories to connect them, different monologues, different bits from Shakespeare that they do, and they're doing it at the Arroyo Seco Branch Library in LA, and actually it's Eleanor, one of our members who can't make it today, was sharing with me. Was sharing with me that the Instant Shakespeare Company is doing a reading of Sir Thomas More today, and she said that she thinks the person putting it on still needs more people. You can email him, or she said just show up. They would probably have a role for you. So I posted the link to that, as well as the information about Shakespeareans that Joe Nassi and the other actors that developed it at Theater West are putting on at the Arroyo Seco Branch Library in LA. So that said, the announcements, we will start our monologues round now, and John is going to go first. John is our first monologue, and then I'm on deck. I will go after John performs. Bottom's Dream. End of Act 4 scene is when he just wakes up and says, "I'll write about this. Call it Bottom's Dream." So whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. What is actually the first words? Do you have that? I think it's Act 4 Scene 1.
I don't recall, but I believe the very end of Act 4 Scene 1, when he's just woken up.
Okay, well, that's where I am, I believe. Act 4. Let's see, Act 4 Scene 2. Okay, here I got to go back. Okay. When my cue comes, call me and I will answer. My next is Most Fair Pyramus. Hi ho, Peter Quince. Flute, I've got to find my glasses. I can't see it. Here. Sorry. Flute, the bellows bender snout, the tinker starveling. God's my life stolen hence and left me asleep. I have had a most rare vision. I have had a dream, past the wit of man to say what dream it was. Man is but an ass, if we go about to expound this dream. Methought I was, there is no man can tell me what. Methought I was, and methought I had, but man is but a patched fool if he will offer to say what me methought I had. The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of men hath not seen. Man's hand is not able to taste, his tongue to conceive, nor his heart to report what my dream was. I will get Peter Quince to write a ballad of this dream. It shall be called Bottom's Dream, because it hath no bottom, and I will sing it in the latter end of a play before the Duke. Peradventure, to make it most gracious, I will sing it at her death. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. So it's my turn. I will go, and Henry is on deck. Henry will go after I do. Bishop of Paula. Ooh, good. I like it. I was hoping I would get this the next time it came up. After Parliament has just deposed Richard, and the one guy that protests and gets arrested for it. This is my response to. Okay, here we go. Marry, God forbid! Worst in this royal presence may I speak, yet best beseeming me to speak the truth. Would God that any in this noble presence were enough noble to be upright judge of noble Richard? Then true noblesse would learn him forbearance from so foul a wrong. What subject can give sentence on his king? And who sits here that is not Richard's subject? Thieves are not judged, but they are by to hear, though apparent guilt be seen in them. Shall the figure of God's majesty, his captain, steward, deputy elect, anointed, crowned, planted many years, be judged by subject and inferior birth? Then he himself not present? Oh, forfend it, God! That in a Christian climate souls refined should show so heinous, black, obscene a deed. I speak to subjects, and a subject speaks, stirred up by God, thus boldly for his king. My lord of Hereford here, whom you call king, is a foul traitor to proud Hereford's king. And if you crown him, let me prophesy, the blood of English shall manure the ground, and future ages groan for this foul act. Peace shall go sleep with Turks and infidels, and in this seat of peace tumultuous wars shall kin with kin and kind with kind confound. Disorder, horror, fear, and mutiny shall here inhabit, and this land be called the field of Golgotha and dead men's skulls. Oh, if you raise this house against this house, it will the woefulest division prove that ever fell upon this cursed earth. Prevent it, resist it, let it yet be so, lest child's children cry against you woe. Okay, Henry, you're up. Henry is going to do... The three shadows have offended. The wheel seems to like Midsummer Night's Dream today. 2 out of 3 so far. Okay, so basically the epilogue of Midsummer Night's Dream. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to 'scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the Puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.
Okay, thank you, Henry. Okay, so we have Maggie, and then we'll spin for scenes. So Maggie's gonna do.
Can I just ask that you stay on until I find the line in case I have to ask you something? Thanks a lot. Okay.
Hotspur.
Oh, I love this. Oh my gosh, I feel so lucky. 4-1-1-3. Okay. Let me Henry for part 1, correct?
Yeah, for part 1, Act 1, Scene 3.
Act 1, Scene 3. Okay, I have it.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Thank you. My liege, I did deny no prisoners. But I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint, leaning upon my sword, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed, fresh as a bridegroom, and his chin new reaped showed like a stubble land at harvest home. He was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a pouncet box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and tooked away again, who therewith, angry, when it next came there, took it in snuff, and still he smiled and talked. And as the soldiers bore dead bodies by, he called them untaught knaves, unmannerly, to bring a slovenly, unhandsome course twixt the wind and his nobility. With many holiday and lady terms he questioned me. Amongst the rest demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting with my wounds being cold, to be so pestered with a popinjay, out of my grief and my impatience, answered neglectingly, I know not what. He should or he should not, for he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds, God save the mark, and telling me the sovereignest thing on earth was parmacetti for the inward bruise, and that it was a great pity, so it was, this villainous saltpeter should be digged out of the bowels of the harmless earth, which many a good tall fellow had destroyed so cowardly. And but for these vile guns, he would himself have been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat of his, my lord, I answered indirectly, as I said, and I beseech you, let not his report come current for an accusation twixt my love and your high majesty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So it's time to spin for our scenes. That's the interesting thing about we did 4 monologues today. We had 2 people performing Midsummer Night's Dream and 2 other people telling off Bolingbroke in a different situation. Okay, so our scenes will be, first one will be King Lear, Edgar, and Gloucester. That's 4.6. And I think that's the scene where he leads into the cliff. And he doesn't know that it is Edgar, thinks it's poor Tom. The Tempest, Sebastian and Antonio. And that's Act 2, Scene 1. So the 4 roles then are Edgar or Gloucester in Lear, Act 4, Scene 6. Sebastian or Antonio in Act 2, Scene 1 of the Tempest, where they're plotting to kill Alonso while he sleeps. So, John, what would you like of those 4?
I'm the wrong one. I shouldn't be first, should I?
No, I changed. As of last week, I changed that. We're not going to go in the reverse order. We're going to go in the same order because, people made the issue of the fact that people that come in late end up getting bumped to the end. So that may give first choice of scenes, and that's not right. So we're just going to go in the same order we performed in.
I see. Okay, well, how about Edgar?
Okay, so John is going to be Edgar. I will take Antonio. Henry, do you want to be Gloucester or Sebastian?
Yeah, I'll do Gloucester. Yeah.
Gloucester. So the 2, and so then Maggie. So Maggie and myself. That means Maggie and myself are going to do the Tempest scene. Sebastian and Antonio. I believe that right after the others fall asleep and they start plotting to kill them. But first, it'll be John and Henry doing Edgar and Gloucester. Okay, so whenever you guys are ready.
When shall I come to the top of that same hill?
You do climb it up now. Look how we labor.
Methinks the ground is even.
Horrible steep. Hark, do you hear the sea?
No, truly.
Why then your other senses grow imperfect by your eyes' anguish.
So may it be indeed. Methinks thy voice is altered, and thou speakst in better phrase and matter than thou didst.
You are much deceived. In nothing am I changed, but in my garments.
Methinks you are better spoken.
Come on, sir, here's the place. Stand still. How fearful and dizzy 'tis to cast one's eyes so low. The crows and chows that wing the midway air show scarce so gross as beetles. Halfway down hangs one that gathers samphire dreadful trade. Methinks he seems no bigger than his head. The fishermen that walk upon the beach appear like mice. And yon tall anchoring bark, diminished to her cock a buoy almost too small for sight. The murmuring surge that on the numbered idle pebble chafes cannot be heard so high. I'll look no more, lest my brain turn and my deficient sight topple down headlong.
Set me where you stand.
Give me your hand. You are now within a foot of the extreme verge, for all beneath the moon would I not leap upright.
Let go my hand. Here, friend, is another purse. In it a jewel, well worth a poor man's taking. Fairies and gods prosper it with thee. Go thou further off. Bid me farewell, and let me hear thee going.
Now fare you well, good sir.
With all my heart.
Why do I trifle thus with this despair? It's done to cure it.
Oh, you mighty gods! He kneels. This world I do renounce, and in your sights shake patiently my great affliction off. If I could bear it longer and not fall to quarrel with your great opposeless wills, my snuff and loathed part of nature should burn itself out. If Edgar live, oh bless him. Now, fellow, fare thee well.
Gone, sir, farewell. And yet I know not how conceit may rob the treasury of life when life itself yields to the theft. Had it been where he thought, by this had thought been past, alive or dead. Ho you, sir, friend, hear you, sir, speak. Thus might he pass indeed, yet he revives. What are you, sir?
Away, and let me die.
Hadst thou been aught but gossamer feathers, ere so many thaydom down precipitating, thou'd shiver like an egg. But thou dost breathe, hast heavy substance, bleeds not, speaks, art sound. 10 masts at each make not an altitude which thou hast perpendicularly fell. Thy life is a miracle. Speak yet again.
But have I fallen or no?
From the dread summit of this chalky bourne, look up a height. The shrill gorged lark so far cannot be seen or heard. Do but look up.
Alack, I have no eyes. Is wretchedness deprived that benefit to end itself by death? 'Twas yet some comfort when misery could beguile the tyrant's rage and frustrate his proud will.
Give me your arm. Up so. How is't? Feel you your legs? You stand.
Too well, too well.
This is above all strangeness. Upon the crown or the cliff, what thing was that which parted from you?
A poor, unfortunate beggar.
As I stood here below, methought his eyes were 2 full moons. Had he 1,000 noses, horned, whelked, and way, it was some fiend. Therefore, thou happy father, think that the clearest gods, who make them honors amidst impossibility, have preserved thee.
I do remember now. Henceforth I'll bear affliction till it do cry out itself, enough, enough, and die. That thing you speak of, I took it for a man. Often 'twould say the fiend, he led me to that place.
Bear free and patient thoughts. Enter there. But who comes here? The safer sense will ne'er accommodate his master thus. Okay, that's the end, I think. Isn't it?
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, Leah's.
Now we got myself and Maggie to do an Antonio and Sebastian.
So it's starting with I say, "What a strange drowsiness
Yeah,
possesses me."
now everyone else is asleep but us on stage. So
Okay.
whenever you're ready, go ahead and start with that.
Okay. What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble, they fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by a thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian? Oh, what might? No more, and yet methinks I see it in thy face. What thou shouldst be. Occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head. Do
What, art thou waking?
you not hear me speak?
I do. And surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speak'st it out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say? This is a strange repose, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lett'st thy fortune sleep. Die rather, wink'st whiles thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, which to do trebles the oar.
Well, I'm standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb, hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherish, whiles thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Ebbing men indeed most often do so near the bottom run by their own fear of sloth.
Breathe, say on. The setting of thine eye and cheek proclaim a matter from thee, and a birth indeed which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this, who shall be of this little memory when he is earthed, hath here almost persuade, for he's a spirit of persuasion only, professes to persuade. The king his son's alive, 'tis as impossible that he's undrowned, and he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope you have. No hope that way is, another way so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wink beyond, but doubt discovery there. Will you grant me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Claribel.
She that is Queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life, she that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post, the man and the moon's too slow, till newborn chins be rough and razorable, she that from home. We all were sea swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act, whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true my brother's daughter, Queen of Tunis, so is she the heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Claribel measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis, and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now hath seized them. Why, they were no worse than now they are. There be that can rule Naples as well as he that sleeps. Lords that can prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. I myself could make a cough of a deep chat. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And how well my garments sit upon me, much feeter than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows, now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
Aye, sir, where lies that? If 'twere a kite, 'twould put me to my slipper, but I feel not this deity in my bosom. 20 consciences that stand twixt me and Milan, handied be they, and melt ere they molest. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that, which now he's like, that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever, whiles you doing thus, to the perpetual wink of eye, might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou goest Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like to fall it on Gonzalo.
Oh, but one word.
Ariel intervenes. Okay, great job with the models and scenes. Bill just joined us. He came in late, so let's make sure we give him a chance to perform. We'll spin for a monologue. Ordinarily, when we had as few people, I might have said, let's do a second monologue, but there's that other thing I needed to get to. I posted the links and the information there, so one's watching this area, they can check that out. So we'll do Bill, and then we'll call it a day. Bill is going to do... An old Marvel. I will tell you the barge, the Antony and Cleopatra, Act 2, Scene 2.
2.
And I believe it starts, I will tell you the barge, she, that's how it starts, I think.
Okay. Looking for it. It's in 2-2, huh?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. I will tell you, the barge she sat in, like a burnished throne, burned on the water. The poop was beaten gold, purple the sails, and so perfumed that the winds were lovesick with them. The oars were silver, which to the tune of flutes kept stroke, and made the water which they beat to follow faster as amorous of their strokes. For her person, it beggared all description. She did lie in her pavilion, cloth of gold, of tissue, or picturing that Venus where we see the fancy outwork nature. On each side her stood pretty dimpled boys, like smiling cupids with divers colored fans, whose wind did seem to glow the delicate cheeks which they did cool, and what they undid did. Her gentlewomen, like the Nereids, so many mermaids tended her in the eyes and made her bends adornings. At the helm a seeming mermaid steers. A silken tackle swell with the touches of those flower soft hands that yarely frame the office. From the barge a strange invisible perfume hits the sense of the adjacent wharfs. The city cast her people out upon her, and Antony, enthroned in the marketplace, did sit alone, whistling to the air, which, but for vacancy, had gone to gaze on Cleopatra too, and made a gap in nature. Upon her landing, Antony sent to her, invited her to supper. She replied it should be better he became her guest, which she entreated, our courteous Antony, whom ne'er the word of no woman heard speak. Being barbered 10 times o'er, goes to the feast, and for his ordinary pays his heart, and for what his eyes eat only. Is that it? How about that? Is that good enough?
Okay, thank you, Bill. Glad you were able to join us. Better late than never. Glad we got good performances from everybody today. And keep in mind the two things I made an announcement about. Busy day for Shakespeare. 2 other things. One here on the West Coast where I'm doing this from, and another I think the people are located in the East Coast, but it's online, so you can do it from anywhere in the world. I posted a link to those two things if anybody's interested. So hope you'll check that out. I may miss next week. Day before Mother's Day, I might come up, spend the whole weekend with my mom. I haven't decided yet our plans, so we might, because of that, not do it next weekend. But other than that, remember, unless something like that comes up, every Saturday, the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Hope you enjoyed the show, and see you soon. Bye now.